Welcome back everyone. For today's video, we continue with the speed run or slow run, however you want to call it. It's a 10-minute game. Oh my god, this is unrated. Let me change it to rated. We want to actually get rating points. Okay, now the game is afoot. And the opponent starts with b3. So he wants to feature the bishop. I'm going to put the knight here right away to avoid any shenanigans here. And now we can grab a space with the pawn on d5. And he takes, okay, that's a strategical mistake. Here we have these two options, right? To take here with the bishop. I'm gonna open up the center as we should have an advantage as we can get the bishops out. We have these two bishops that are going to be very active. Okay, and now he's gonna open up the other bishop. That's kind of weird. Okay, so we want to follow normal development. I guess I can always put my bishop here, but I don't like this move. So I'm gonna go with bishop to d6 and then castle. Okay, I still have to protect my pawn. This pawn is hanging. Let's play very solid and protect the pawn. I think this game should be really easy. We're gonna castle. I can put my rook here on this open file right away. This looks a lot like the Caro-Kann Tartakower structure, where I can have these ideas. I can move my knight here. I can also develop my knight over here, for example, play c5. So I'm gonna go with knight to d7. Knight to d7, getting the knight out. And probably I can even trade the bishop. I can trade the bishop. Normally you don't want to leave your pawn hanging, but in this situation I can take back with the rook. I can always go back. So in terms of like if you're making progress in your rating, probably you want to keep the bishop alive. So let's keep the bishop alive. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad trade because of this pawn structure, right? We have these three pawns, so we actually want to trade this bishop, which I'm thinking about now, but he has f3. He always have f3. So okay, now let's get the rook into the semi-open file. I still want to push a c5 at some point, but obviously my pawn is hanging. And now that he only has one defender, probably it's a good idea to go here. I also have this f5. So I'm gonna push f5. This is taken from the book of how to play the Caro-Kann Tartakower, right? And now I want to weaken this pawn structure. I'm gonna take the pawn. I can bring the queen around. And I am even threatening to checkmate. Sorry about here. So queen h4, you have to double check if nothing is hanging. What are the ideas for white to defend? Maybe this, but it still hangs the pawn. So let's go here. I'm threatening to checkmate. I think the only defensive move might be something like knight f4. Okay, f4, that's also a good move. We have to be aware of this, but he still gets in trouble. So if he ever plays this, no, once I take the pawn, pushing the pawn wouldn't be efficient, right? Now let's take the pawn, and I don't see good counterplay for white. Maybe the only move we can expect in this position is something like, oh no, he can even move the bishop. What am I saying? So no, I don't see very good counterplay for white, to be honest. I can even put more pressure on this bishop by playing bishop to e4. So this move that we save for later is paying off now. It feels like there's a bunch of tactics here. Maybe I can take. If he takes, I take. If he takes with the pawn, probably there's nothing there, but still looks dangerous, right? So let's see if we can find some nasty tactics. Bishop to h5 is interesting. So what does he want to do? Is he wants to play this move, rook to g3. If I go here, no, I think this is a safe move anyway. So I'm gonna go for bishop to h5. Now this move cannot happen because I can take this knight. So this knight is completely hanging. Let's just take. Takes. We're up a piece. The bishop is loose. So I can go back here, but I actually like this move slightly better. Keeping this bishop in a more active diagonal. And now I have to figure out a way to bring my other pieces around. Yeah, this pawn is also weak. But okay, let's just activate this knight. Let's put it in a more active square. Now he probably wants to move the bishop somewhere and then threaten this pawn, right? So as a safe mode, safe fail, I'm gonna get my bishop back into this square. And now this taking this pawn is gonna be super safe. Okay, now maybe a trade of pieces is completely fine, something like knight to e4. So let's go for this move. Knight to e4, threatening the fork here. So now he has to take. He inevitably has to take. So I'm gonna pre-move taking back with the bishop. Okay. We're still completely winning. We're up a piece. And now this move I wanted to play a long time ago, c5, right? Challenging this pawn structure. So I'm gonna take here. I hope he takes back. Okay. This pawn is loose, but the rook is still protecting. Okay, but this diagonal might be... Okay, I don't know. I think I can just play bishop to f5. Bishop to f5, maybe. I want to target this pawn, but I'm not sure how. Maybe I can just double up the rooks. That hands the pawn, but I still have... I have to protect my bishop. So, okay, let's just play safe and just play g6. Generally, you don't want to push pawns in front of the king if you can help it, but I don't see any problems actually with this move. Now remember, this pawn is hanging, so let's just take. I guess his idea now is to take this bishop, so we have to get out of the pin, right? There is a pin here, and he can take this bishop. We can always give a check, but that I don't see a good continuation. Wait, check. Maybe maybe have a check. We have a check here, and maybe another check. We're hoping him to blunder. Oh wait, is it a blunder? Okay, maybe not, but I can give another check here with the bishop, right? So this move is not as efficient anymore. Okay, and now I can even, let's see if I can, these pieces are weird, right? Can I trap them? Maybe I can play f6. f6, and now the question is, where do you put this rook? This sacrifice doesn't even work because I can take here, and the rook looks like he's trapped. Maybe not. Okay, yeah, he has a saving move there. So okay, let's look for other type of solutions here. I'm gonna take this pawn that is just loose. Probably there is a better way to attack here, but maybe I always have this move like rook c8. Let's go for that rook c8. I'm threatening this. And white is in a dire situation in this position, right? This attack is not super efficient. They don't have enough material, they don't have enough pieces, they don't have enough pawns either. So this is losing. Yeah, this is clearly losing for white. Now, I think I want to get my king out, just because this still feels super awkward, super weird. And I'm still defending the pawn. Yeah, okay, now this move I can just counter with g5. g5, threatening to take the knight, so now this pawn is hanging. Let's take the pawn. Wait, yeah, I think let's just take the pawn. I think he might be thinking about something really, this is crazy, so that doesn't work. I should have played, okay, he's giving me the rook. Let's just take here. And now let's bring the other rook into the game. Okay, that allows me to give a check and possibly win this knight. So he has to find the right defense for this, which I... no, I don't see it. Okay, there's nothing there. Let's just move the rook here, one square. Threaten to take the knight. And now I just noticed that there is like my light looks a little bit strange, like out of frame, but okay. So it's all good. Let's do a game review. Now we have just crossed into the 4 digits, 1000 ELO. Okay, I want to show you guys what I'm talking about, the Caro-Kann Tartakower, right? I have played that opening many times. So the opponent starts with e4, and then you go with the Caro-Kann c6, he pushes the other pawn, d5, and now he's gonna get the knight out. So here you takes, you develop the other knight, takes here, and now you have very simple ideas, developing the bishops. For example, here and here, the knight and castle, and now the rook goes into the center, right? So just as an example, because we have a very similar structure in this position, where I'm gonna get my bishops out. I have the double pawns here, a castle, I get my rook into the center, and then I can move the knight. So this was a very familiar game for me, even though the opponent has a different pawn structure here, but I still know that this is super solid. So the first mistake, strategical mistake, is you're opening up the bishop. Why would you take my knight? Like, my knight doesn't have any scope in this position. You're trading your most active piece. And yeah, this is why the computer likes my opening. Okay, and now let's see here. I think the biggest mistake, it was a few inaccuracies, right? With that is enough to win the game. But here now he has to play something like knight g3. Knight g3 is fine. I can develop my knight. The game will continue. But to me, this is more of a blunder, because he goes rook g3. I'm attacking the queen. Yeah, but you are on defending this knight. Okay, now the game continues. Here the execution was, I think that was rather simple. Let's continue here. No mistakes, everything was good. And then game, he resigned. Oh, this turns out to be there's a mate in 7. Let's carry on with another game. Okay, so let's do, wait a second. Okay, let's continue with another one. We have just crossed into the 1000 ELO. I'm gonna start with c4 now. And a lot of players are going to play something like knight f6. One of the best moves is to just play e5. Okay, he fianchettos the bishop. I think it's completely fine. So I'm gonna take more space in the center with d4. Perfect. Let's develop the knight. Developing this knight is also good, so anything is fine. The benefit of developing the knight b3 is I could have pushed e4 right away. If I push e4 now, it's going to blunder the pawn. But okay, let's concentrate on developing the rest of the pieces. This is always an uncomfortable move for black. So I'm gonna get my bishop out to g5. Now I can put e3 and then bishop to d3. That is kind of our system with the English opening. Now a common move you're gonna expect is something like h6. Kicking out the bishop, you just go back. Something else, they have to push one of these pawns early. For example, d5. d5 is a good move. Yeah, that's predicted. And here you can just take. So I'm gonna take in this position. So, and then I'm going to, I can always develop my knight. I'm gonna develop my knight. I could have developed my bishop, but it's fine. I guess I want to get to the end game as soon as possible. But all right, so he could have traded. Now the knight is gonna be in a weird square. Maybe later on that's gonna be a difference in the game. But let's just develop the bishop for now. See, the knight has now problems to enter the game. They can rewrite it, for example. But now, see, yeah, these two knights are kind of awkward, especially this knight. Let's cancel. Now we have to adapt to the situation. Retreating the bishop here is fine, but I see an attacking opportunity by playing bishop to f4, and maybe I can coordinate later with my knight here and attacking this. Now it fails. This fails because I actually missed this move. Yeah, he's retreating the knight. So I'm gonna get back my. I'm going to save my bishop. And if he trades here, I'm gonna take back. So I'm gonna remove this. Okay, so he doesn't go for that. Maybe this time he's gonna struggle to defend this pawn. Let me calculate because I have not calculated at all in this speed run. So I think it's completely fine. Let's go for that. We're threatening to win this pawn. But more importantly, we're threatening these two rooks, right? So now what are the defensive moves? He's defending with the knight, right? But I can always go for this spicy move, e4. So I actually maybe misplace this. If I go here, he just takes. So maybe that's not possible. Can we push e4 anyway? If I push e4, he can take, and I take, but he's gonna take my... So e4, I don't like that as much, just because he definitely threatens the knight. But we have to think about the forcey moves. He's gonna take here. I can take this pawn after he takes also this pawn. However, this pawn is also hanging. This pawn is loose. This pawn is gonna be protected by only the knight. The knight, and he's attacking with 1, 2, and later the queen. So the safest move is sometimes the best move. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, probably I have misplaced this, but we still have a playable position. Now he's pushing e5. This move is very attractive now. It's very attractive to play e4. I can also just take. So I think I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take here. You usually have to take when they push the pawn like this, and you are in a tough decision where the next move is threatening your two pieces, right? So I'm gonna show you here. Let's say I cannot show you, but yeah, he could have threatened these two pieces, so I have to take. Now my bishop is hanging, so I have to take as well here. Let's see. And now he can, I think he's gonna take back with the bishop. That's more convenient. Unfortunately, I cannot push this pawn because that blunders this fork. But maybe now next I have to take. Yeah, I misplayed this move, this opening. I don't know. But okay, still playable. We're still in the game. Okay, I'm going to take this knight. I'm gonna take this knight. And now, wait, do I have tactics here? I think I have tactics. I can take this pawn. Once he takes... No, that's not it. No, no. Don't do that. Don't blunder. I can have queen b3, for example. Queen b3. Yeah, I misplayed this completely. Okay, let's go with queen b3. I don't love my... opening. Oh, instead we can even go with queen c2, avoiding the threat. Avoiding the threat. And now once he takes, okay, I'm gonna pre-move. Probably he's gonna take my bishop. Oh, that's a good move. Yeah, if he took here, for example, later I have a sacrifice, an interesting sacrifice here, but it doesn't work anymore as this rook is being protected by the other rook. But okay, I will try to trick him anyway. Maybe let's go for... Oh, this pawn is hanging, it's annoying. Okay, let's go for rook d1. Rook d1. And now this is possible, right? Now, I think I missed this move, bishop e4, hitting the queen. Hitting the queen, yeah, maybe. Bishop e4, and now how do you defend this pawn? Okay, let's just take the pawn here. Now, this pawn is loose. This pawn is loose. Probably he has to do something about it. Because I can take, and now it's like, what do you do with this queen? If he takes, I take. And probably he can take this pawn, but it's with tempo. Okay, that's smart. He's protecting the pawn. Let's go. Maybe this pawn is loose. I can take it. But that's gonna be interesting because now I'm opening up the file for the rook. So that's risky, but I have to play for the win. Or I'm gonna try to play for the win. I don't have to, but I will take the pawn and pray. Right, because he also had the advantage. He had 3 versus 2. I have 2 versus 2, so now the game on this side of the board is equal. However, on this side of the board, we are 3 versus 4, so with perfect play, this should be a draw. And now let's grab another pawn. I hope I'm not getting into trouble or blundering something. Now maybe a trade of queens will be convenient. I can also take here though. But if I take, what is the... I cannot take with the bishop because this is hanging. This is hanging, right? I can also offer the trade of queens. If I take here, this bishop is loose. Maybe he has a winning move. Okay, let's go for that. Let's take the pawn. Let's try to play for the win. But I think he might have something in this position. It's interesting. Yeah, he has bishop f5. Why is he sniping me? Or what is happening? Because now I can... if I take... He takes here. I take back. And he takes with the queen, we check. So maybe I have to play... Where can I play this or something else? Fortunately, I am still protecting this bishop twice. Bishop twice. Yeah, I cannot take this bishop. Can I play this? G4. No, he can just take with the queen. Rook d2. Can I play rook d2? Bishop takes. Takes, I guess. So I think rook d2 is still possible. This is shaky. This is really sketchy. Wait, can I just go back? Oh no, that doesn't make any sense. He just takes. Wait. No, yeah, that's fine. Bishop e2. Bishop e2. Bishop e2. If he takes, I just take. Oh wow, I think this works. I'm gonna go for it, guys. So bishop e2. I'm hitting the queen, protecting this pawn, this rook at the same time. Twice, right? It took me a while to figure this out, but I think that's the best defense. Because normally you don't want to disconnect your rooks. That's why I was like, I don't know, I don't like the rook d2. So now he really has to think about it. His rook is hanging. His queen is hanging. So he has to go for forcing moves, like takes, and just takes. And yeah, the threat is over. Yeah, this is some beautiful geometry here, right on the board. Where I'm hitting his queen, but my bishop is protecting the queen. Okay, so let's get pieces of the board, right? Let's just get pieces of the board, not think too much about it. I don't see anything immediate for him. So let's go here. Maybe even this move is fine. He takes, I just take. So let's go here. I'm gonna have to rush it because I am down on time. But this is winning as I have the 2 extra pawns on this side of the board. Okay, let's just take here. And maybe get the bishop out. Let's activate the bishop. Okay, and that blunders the bishop. Thank you very much indeed. And now let's try to... Okay, now he wants to trade queens. Let's trade queens. And thank you, because I was low on time. Let's bring the king around. I'm gonna pre-move this. Bring the king to the center as much as possible. Hit the pawn. Okay, I'm gonna hit the pawn. And now let's keep pushing the pawns. Okay, he's hanging another pawn. Let's go here, remove this. I'm gonna remove this as well. It's completely winning. Let's go here. Let's just be careful not to stalemate. But let's go here, and then this pawn is coming forward. Okay, let's go here, move. Oh my god! I stalemated. That was so stupid. Oh my god, I thought he had like a lot of space, but I cut out all of his space. That was bad, guys, so I'm sorry about that. It's all good. We still got a good game, and I think I will still upload this video. Okay, guys, I want to do a game review anyway, so that was embarrassing. I didn't even think it because I put the bishop here. So I was cutting off all the diagonal for the king to escape. But let's do a game review. I think that was the best defense. I am interested to know whether that was the best defense. So I have an advantage here in the opening, but it's not super clear. Okay, now yeah, he made a mistake, but everything is good. It's kind of equal. I'm grabbing the pawns. That's fine. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that was a very good defense. E2, bishop d2. What about rook d2? It's a slight inaccuracy. It's not losing, but now he can move the bishop. Okay. Okay, yeah, that was the best defense in the game. Let's go for another game.